Okay. Okay, now we're live. I don't know what, there were so many delays. I don't think we were live all that time. Can you believe that? Okay. Now I think we're live. It looks like we're live. Oh, so many complications with that just then. So many complications. Anyway, I'm just glad that we're finally on here, and let me just edit the link for you guys in some of the posts so that everyone can join on. And unfortunately, it's also the day that my computer wants to go ridiculously slow. Sometimes that happens, right? Just because. But that's okay. That's all right. We're just going to deal with it. And it's going to be what it's going to be, you know? What can we do? It's like that sometimes. I'm going to re-embed the code onto www.aishathemidwife.com. And that is www.aishathemidwife.com. aishathemidwife.com /solutions, or you could just click on the tab up top that says solutions, and you should be able to have a look and be able to see us right through the website. Or you can also go on YouTube and go to click Aisha the Midwife.Muhammad, and you will find me there as well. Okay. I am finally seeing us. Wow. All right. Yay, we're live. Okay, cool, you guys. That took forever and drove me almost insane. But we are here. Okay. So let's get our guest co-host ready. Make sure he's on. Looks like he's there. Looks like he's there. I don't know what's happening. I'll tell you one thing. I really know better now as far as using this way, because I don't prefer it. It doesn't work very well for me. I don't really prefer this platform. I'm just going to really hope that the platform I usually use is going to be up and running and available come next Thursday. Oh, okay. There's the brother. So today, give me one moment. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I hear you.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, I hear you.
I can't hear. Why can't I hear? Oh, there's a delay. That's no good. There's a delay in the audio. Wait a minute. Let's see. This way. We're just having all kinds of technical difficulties. Okay. I have no Okay. Okay. We're back. This is getting pretty rough. It's getting a little rough. There's a lot of noise in my background too, huh? Okay. So what I can't do is I cannot have it on that secondary screen. I just had to figure that part out. Can you hear me? I had
Yes,
to
I hear you,
close out
sis.
the. Okay, now we're great. Oh my gosh, that was insane. Woo! Okay, that was the craziest thing ever. There was so much going on. The other screen was it was playing it back, and I was trying to figure out why I was playing everything back. But okay. This is probably like the test run show. Last year when I started Solutions Live, we were so on point, right down to every second of the of the show. But also, I was familiar with the streaming technology that I was using, so that helps a lot, and that makes a huge difference. Anyhow, so peace, greetings, assalamu alaikum, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Solutions Live. It is the show where we focus on us minding our own business. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so, so much. You guys don't even know. I appreciate you hanging in there through the technical difficulties because there has been many, excuse me, for the last 20 minutes. And it is not like me to be so late and unfashionable when it comes to something like this. But things do happen, and we know that life gets in the way. I'm your host, of course, Aisha Muhammad, or Aisha the Midwife Muhammad, or some people know me as Aisha the Baby Catcher Muhammad. One of my goals in starting this show, and I began the show actually a year ago, interestingly enough, the same date a year ago. And I began the show because I wanted us to address a lot of the topics and a lot of the issues that affect us as Black people and as Black Muslims. And I do hear a lot of people address the topics that we face as Black people or as Muslims, but usually not targeting anything that is uh, specifically focused on Black Muslims. And so I thought for me, that was a problem. That was a problem for me because I'm a Black woman and I'm a Muslim woman. And some of my challenges and some of the issues that I may face are or can be a little different from if I was just a Black woman or if I was, let's say, an Arab Muslim. It's just different. It's just not the same. And so while many people want to kind of put it all in one big old basket and act like it's the same, it's really not. There's so many more challenges to that. And so instead of us only talking about what are the challenges, what are the problems, what are the issues, the goal of the Solutions Live show is to come up with solutions by the end of the episode. We want to start healing ourselves. We want to start getting better and making progress and having success with this generation and the next generation and the next generation to come. So, in order to do that, we do need to properly discuss all of the things or just all of the things. that are really bothering us, that are really hindering us as Blacks, and then as Black Muslims. So also another thing is that there are so many Black people that become Muslim that, you know, your cousin or your auntie may be Christian this year, but next year they may be Muslim. So to be honest with you, that same challenges and issues that we face as Black people before we even become Muslim, we're going to still have those challenges and issues when we become Muslim. We just add on more because then we have the issues and challenges that come with being Muslim as well. And so many people are very much opposed to Islam and the practices of Muslims that we now have a whole huge combination of things that we kind of have to, you know, encounter and worry about. And it's not very fun. So we are going to find solutions, inshallah, God willing. We're going to do that, and we're going to become a better people and a more superior people. I always like to start off with some type of affirmation or word of the day. And today, instead of the word of the day, actually, I'll start off with a little affirmation. So today I'll say my affirmation would be, you know, I walk the path I choose. And many of you may not know this about me, but I don't plan a lot of things when it comes to what I write or my affirmations. So that is just off the top of my head. I did not practice that. I did not write it down. That's what I feel in this moment. I walk the path that I choose. That means that whatever path you are walking through right now in your life, whatever path that you will walk through tomorrow or next week or next year or in 10 years, it is the path that you directly chose. Whatever events, whatever things that you've done, participated in, said, heard, whatever, has led you down the path that you are right now and will lead you down the path that you are going towards in the future. Okay? So you must remember that. That's an affirmation that also holds you to take accountability for your actions, to be responsible for the things that you say and do and hear. We often do not take accountability for ourselves. We often do not take responsibility for our actions. So now, without further ado, I do want to introduce our guest co-host this week and talk about our topic a little bit, and you know, we can interact. I love to hear from you guys, hear what you got to say. You can text the number 856-514-1418. That's 856-514-1418. You can text that number at any time with any questions that you may have or comments that you want to add in. And you can also, if you're on Google Hangouts, you can actually chat in the messenger box. You can also, but let me see, will I see it? Because I think you can also do it on YouTube as well with the chat box. I'm checking it out now, guys. Okay, so yeah, so I can see it on YouTube. I'm trying to make sure I can actually see your chat. Okay, so I guess the chat will come up soon. I'm not going to worry. It'll come soon. So there is literally 20 things going on at one time. Okay, so anyway, without further ado, let me introduce to you our guest co-host for today. This brother's name is Knowledge Born Allah, and he is the host and the founder of the award-winning platform, Do the Knowledge, which is dedicated to the celebration and cultivation and reformation of the African family by facilitating discussions, conversation, and classes surrounding all aspects of African life. He is also a dedicated father and husband. So, Brother Knowledge, We welcome you to the show. Welcome, welcome.
Peace, sister. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Peace. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Uh, honor
So
and privilege.
today's topic, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead, sir.
I was going to say today's topic, we're talking about midwives, the importance of having midwives, and just kind of giving you guys some more information about home birth. So, oddly enough, you probably are not going to believe me, but I did not pick the topic. Brother Knowledge actually picked the topic. So I am excited that he picked the topic, and I'm actually going to let him lead the topic because, yes, I'm a midwife. However, it's so easy for me to tell you what I know. And what we don't get a chance to do much or much often is actually hear from the men. We don't get to hear from the men, and we don't get to hear from the brothers about birth, about things that deal with female anatomy. Very very seldom do we hear men speak of that. So I'm loving that he suggested that topic, and I think it's awesome. And I would really love to hear from any other men out there who may have a suggestion, who may have a comment, who may have a question, even, and really hear something from the male's perspective versus just the midwife or just another female. So, Brother Knowledge, can you tell us a little bit about this topic? What inspired you to want to speak about this? Give us a little insight of what your mind is thinking.
Well, I wanted to say thank you to you for allowing me on. I come from a large family.
Your mic is out a little bit.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, now you're clear. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I come from a large family. My mother had 7 children. I am the fourth child of 7 children, and she came from a family of 15 children. So, the importance of family is something that's near and dear to my heart. I have 4 children of my own, and wanting to learn the sacred science of seeing creation being born is something that's very interesting. I'll share a story from my own birth with you, and you could kind of see, the importance of what you do. I was born 3 months premature,
Mm,
and I was the first child born. I'm from New Jersey originally. Uh, in 1980, that was 3 months premature, and that had no birth defects.
mm,
So I spent the first year of my life in the hospital in the incubator.
mm.
So by the grace of Allah, who made my mother steadfast and patient, and learning the sciences of healing, I was able to become the man that you see here today. Um, had my mother listened to what the doctors had to say, I wouldn't be here. You know, uh, they did things with me in the hospital. Performed experiments and the like. You know, uh, even up to trying to actually purchase me from my mother so they could
Mm,
perform experiments, uh,
mm,
see why I was born with no birth defects,
mhm,
and so many other cases. So again, had not my mother, allowed me my mother to be the mother that she uh, was and is, I wouldn't be here talking to you. So uh, all of the births were planned, you know, and it's a very significant thing to tell your children, as Black people and as Muslims, the stories of their birth, because it gives them a sense of your journey and what you went through, uh, having, each child. So if your child doesn't know their birth story, they won't begin to know their origin in this world, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and they won't know who you are. They have to listen to you. You might be relatable or whatever. You understand? You might be in a position of authority over them, but in join, you have rights over one another. My mother had rights over me and my father, and I had rights over them. You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
this relationship is predicated on the birth story. So when your children know their birth story and their naming process, they're born with an identity that the world can't take from them. They can't warp. They can't lead them down a path of destruction. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this is, applicable, to, brothers and sisters, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim, but the society that we live in, often attacks you for your skin color and then let them find out your name. Forget about it. Your name is Abdul. Or, you understand what I'm saying? My mother, I and my father share the same name. Uh, you know. So she was Mukmina, my father was Mukmin, and I was named after my father and my mother, in that regard. So just even the closeness in the relationship there is a connector. And, these are all, oral traditions in regards to shaping and molding an identity. So, we know how Mukmin is one of the 99 attributes of Allah. That means the believer or the faithful, depending on which translation you look at. So, uh, in this story, interesting enough, with that first year of the hospital and in the birth process, my birth was unlike any other birth in my family. You know, uh, so again, with my brothers and sisters, they had their own unique story. So this had me interested from the time I heard the story up to now about the process, and ensuring that even with the birth of my own children, that all of the parameters were put in place to ensure uh, as less contact with people who don't love you or care about you and profit off of your misfortune as possible. You see what I'm saying? And it's very important, for the men that are listening, to be able to have a, strong, intuitive type of approach and protective approach around the birthing process itself, from conception to birth. For the sisters that are in your life, the sister that's in your life, the lady that's in your life, guarding and protecting her and ensuring that this process is as stress free as possible. You see what I'm saying? So again, you know, uh, some of my children were born overseas. They had midwives and things like that. But I was
Mm-hmm.
in Germany, and I'll be I wasn't. You have to protect those spirits that are around your children. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And
Yes,
so
indeed.
it's all of these things was important. So just looking at the topic and looking at what you do, I think it's remarkable. It's as natural and as close to our identity as possible. So I definitely wanted to you know explore and lead. If it wasn't for the sisters that was in my mother's life in the Islamic community, you see what I'm saying? She wouldn't have been able to leave the hospital. They had to come get her and actually you know physically help her out of the hospital. So there, you know there's all stories that are tied in to uh, what we do, and most especially the birth. So I'm definitely excited to dialogue with you, sis, about this topic, as you can tell.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Wow. You said a mouthful, and it was really a lot of shock factor things and stories that you just told us about. And I appreciate you and thank you for sharing that with us. Those are some pretty personal stories. So have you experienced, I know you said some of your children were born with midwives, but have any of them been born at home?
No,
And would you ever consider home birth?
most definitely. I mean, the more you learn culturally, and you start to connect culturally, and to see, these is all of the things that I was saying, like lessons learned. Like I've been in the battles with the hospitals and all kinds of stuff. My last son, my youngest son, they wanted to keep him and my wife in the hospital for 3 or 4 days for observation. I was like, ain't no way in the world. You understand what I'm saying? And you
Mm-hmm.
know, most people in my position, especially being a man, would have looked at it like, oh, okay, the doctor said that you got to stay here. Like, what? You understand what I'm saying? Like, you just gonna have
Mm-hmm.
some farm like that. Like, I'm so serious about the spirits. You're thinking of, like, you know your the woman you love is open. You see what I'm saying? A child just came out of her, and you want to leave her in a place of disease and filth, and you understand what I'm saying? To be poked and prodded and interrupted and experimented on by doctors. That's a little bug for me. You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't having it. And they went to go get all of the people and all of that stuff. I was like, whatever, you go get whoever, and we're leaving. You understand what I'm saying? And they was telling me stuff like, we think your son has jaundice and he could die. I said, well, he gonna die with
Mm-hmm.
people.
Right.
So I said, if it's the will of the Creator, then he gonna die with people who love him, not somebody who you know gonna benefit. So yeah, that was
Right.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Just being lessons learned, being wise. So most definitely, I support home birth and an advocate, for home birth.
Mm-hmm. So now, you were mentioning something. I just kind of wanted to double back just a little bit. You mentioned a couple times. You mentioned, people's spirits that are around the child when that child is born, and I'm kind of big on that myself. The belief and the knowing and understanding that there are so many people with so many different types of energies just all around us, even as
Right.
adults, all the time. So if we give birth in a hostile environment
That's right.
where you're being possibly, even though it's not actual chains, but those straps is almost like having chains on. You're like chained to the bed. Someone's forcing a needle in your arm. You may or may not be able to get up just to use the restroom and things like that. So it's a very hostile environment, and a lot of people don't understand that it's like psychological torture, you know. And so you have all of that going on, and then you have people around you who don't really know you. They don't really know the child. They don't really, they haven't really walked with you through the pregnancy, whether it's the man or the woman. A lot of times they dismiss the men and they
Right.
don't really give him a place in the birthing room, in the birthing area. And then they command you to push. They're not asking you to push.
Right.
They don't ask us women to push. They command the woman to push. It's a very commanding thing. It's time for you to push. Start pushing. They never say, would you like to push now? you know so a lot of these things people never consider. They never take this stuff into consideration. And then to top it off, all of that energy, whatever they feel in that day, maybe they had a little spat with the nurses, with other doctors, and all of those things. Whatever it is they're carrying around is now going to touch your brand new baby who's coming right into the world. So they come in innocent and pure and free of all evil and all the nonsense, right? And then here comes these little grimy hands with all these whatever intentions. So we know intentions are real. We know
Right.
energy is real. We know energy is transferable. And we know that jinns walk with a lot of people. A lot of people got a lot of jinn, a lot of little devils and things like that
That's
that they
right.
listen to walk with them. So you talking we talking about when our children are born in that type of environment, and those are the first people, and that's the first type of energy or spirit or whatever that they're exposed to, then how do we expect them to grow up with a positive or righteous mind frame? We start them off in a very negative way. And not always is it intentional, but it doesn't matter whether it's intentional or unintentional. It just is. It's what's happening. It's what occurs. So, one of the things that I hear a lot of people talk about when they speak about why they don't give birth at home are the what if factors, and a lot of people are scared of the risk, so to speak, the risk of home birth. So, regarding that, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like there are bigger risks having a baby at home versus the hospital? Do you feel like you tell us?
But you heard the conditions of my birth and what the hospital had to give me, right?
Right, exactly.
And it has not changed. There have been so many instances. If you look at the hospital's track record with birth, I would just even say for the sisters that are listening, the doctors don't know anything about you. They don't know anything about you. This is you are the last and the latest and the greatest of the technology that they're trying to discover and uncover, and they're learning it by practicing on, you know, and your children. You understand what I'm saying? So there was a report. I got a military background. I was in the military for 17 years. There was a report of a birth death that was covered up. It was a young sister who had a baby, and they told her it was a tumor and it wasn't a baby. So then they killed the baby and they covered it up. And they found out, later, of course, things uncovered. You see what I'm saying? But how many people were in that instance to where, they tell you, they take the greatest experience that you can have in life, birth, adding on to life, and make it the most demonic and torturous and treacherous experience of your life. You see what I'm saying? So this is where the what ifs come from, that same fear template. You see? It comes from that same type of fear template to where you see yourself as inadequate to know what's going on with your body and what you created. This is a life. This is precious. You understand what I'm saying? And the methods that they use are torture methods. You understand what I'm saying? So you're in a state of military control, occupied in there, and you're in there until you get released. So it's not only military; it's almost like prison. You get release papers, you get discharge papers. You see what I'm saying? When I left the military, I got a discharge papers. When you leave the hospital, you get discharged from the hospital. You're not in a state of control. You're in a state of being controlled while you're in that environment. Right. It's the military environment. They got police walking around. All of this. Just think about what you see when you go into the hospital. They have a morgue downstairs in the hospital. You see what I'm saying? You got a psych upstairs in the hospital. And this is a place where you're coming to celebrate a new life being brought into existence. Amongst of all this chaos and crazy and all of this foolishness that's going on. And they can kill you and say there were complications. They can kill your loved one and say there's complications. And if they get a malpractice suit, they can still go and fix that in a couple of years and be back doing it again. So there's no real consequence for a life that's taken on the operating table. You see what I'm saying? This is an operation. This is a psychological operation. They put you on the operating table. They have an operating room for you to go. So it's a complete different experience, versus being in an environment that you can control, that is safe, that it's in your realm and span and sphere of graciousness. It's a family, like birth is celebrated. You see what I'm saying? Your family, your loved ones, everybody who's close to you can be around. They can be cheering you on. And it goes back culturally on how we did it ancestrally. This is a disconnect because it's a money game on the other side. You see what I'm saying? So they benefit from whether it's life or death. On this side, we celebrate and we honor and we cherish. We're thankful to the Creator. We're thankful to our ancestors, that we are blessed with a gift of a child. You see what I'm saying? So, if you could really look at it and see what's going on, you would have to put it on the scale. Are your fears or your fears and your reservations greater than the gift that you can receive? So you come into a situation like that, you can be of assistance to the other people in your family, and learn this sacred science of birthing, or what our sister called baby catching. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that was honored amongst us. That was honored
Mm-hmm.
amongst the women in our family. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a rites of passage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we got to understand these things. And look at them with the proper likeness. And so I'm glad that there are sisters like yourself who are giving voices and instruction. You know, to our family, and it's just a little sad that we even have to have conversations surrounding birth.
Yeah.
So, but just like every other aspect of our existence being controlled, someone is benefiting and profiting off of it. So we have to have situations like this to provide a counterbalance.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And sometimes, it's unfortunate the things that we do have to discuss. But it is what it is. The more we discuss things and bring everything to light, the more we are becoming aware of things as a people. And so, I love my people. And if you follow me on Facebook, I always end all my posts, all of my lives with telling you guys how much I love y'all, because I really do love my people, because I have to love y'all, that y'all me, and I'm you. I gotta love you, and one of the things that we um, really have a hang up on is self hatred.
That's right.
And so, not only do I have to love myself as Aisha Muhammad, but I also have to love my people, because you are me. You look like me. You have the same issues as me. You live in the same area as me. We talk alike. You know what I mean? We walk the same. Our swag is the same. As a people, not as individuals, but as a people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Many of us come from the same tribes, or our tribes were right next to each other, perhaps, all of those things. So, we have to break up those cycles of self-hatred and really get into spreading the love amongst us. And I definitely believe that a part of us bringing in conversation and bringing up these type of topics helps do that. It really, it's like the crazy glue, we need
Right.
to, start piecing this together little by little. And while a lot of people may think that giving birth, where you give birth at, how you give birth, who you give birth with is just a minute thing, it's really not, because even who you conceive with, who you end up partnering up with and having a baby with, even that is important. Even that is a serious discussion that needs to be had, how we select our mates. And I won't go into that now, but that's definitely a topic worth discussing. But let's talk about midwives for a moment. So, um, brother knowledge, can you give us a little insight and tell us, from a male perspective, what do you consider a midwife, and what would you expect a midwife to do for a woman at a home birth?
I think uh, for a midwife, she's it's like a mother and a sister and a friend and a companion, in a way that the brother can't possibly understand what's going on and what's happening. We was there when conception happened. We don't understand all of the changes and everything that's going on inside of this woman that we conceived with. This woman that we love. So you know, having someone to give the proper insight, the proper education in the cases with first birth. You know, and no two births are the same. No two experiences in the birth, regardless of how many times you did it, is
Mm-hmm.
going to be the same. You see what I'm saying? So having someone
Absolutely.
to understand, from this experience right there, what you're feeling, how you're feeling, someone who can identify with you in a way that is sacred, that is special, because you're going through, one of the greatest processes on the planet. You see what I'm saying? So to have someone there that can, aid and assist is critical, because otherwise you just have to depend on you know uh, being poked and prodded when you go to the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so so I would see those types of things. Someone who has that experience, and someone who's able to provide that type of service and experience. I think that's remarkable, and it changes the dynamic and the diameter of the thinking of the person that is conceiving and the family that's conceiving. Because families are attached to everything that we do. So I think that a midwife you know, would be beneficial to everyone in the family. You see what I'm saying? So, the man can understand what's going on, and try to get educated on the process, and, ensure, that he's prepared, that, he not nervous, and he not in a situation of doubt, because all of those things, like you were saying, are energies. And
Mm-hmm.
these things, become projected and hyperdimensionalized and received, you know, by our children in the womb of their mother. You know, so
Yeah.
again, like I was saying earlier about being on guard and guarding and preserving and ensuring that all of the access to your loved one is righteous during this process. Very important. That they are around the right people and a loving, caring and safe environment. You see what I'm saying? Because whatever is being projected and her thoughts is being projected and fed to the child in the womb, or children, because we got some amazing stuff that's going on. So I would think that a midwife will provide that type of assurance throughout the process.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So if I can just add a little to it, um, and first of all, I thank you for giving your concept of what a midwife is. I really love that, because it really simplifies it in a way where everybody can easily understand that, but also relate to. When you think of a mother comforting a child, a mother can comfort her grown daughter giving birth. You know what I mean? There's still that
Yeah.
comfort and that nurturing that needs to be had. But also for those who like the very intricate details, um, a midwife, the word midwife literally means with woman, and that's really simple as well, with woman. So it's a woman who's with another woman during the time of her birth. Now, here's the thing, a lot of people tend to think that midwives just wing it. We just show up, and we tell people to boil water, and we just whip out a little juju bag with a bunch of herbs, and then voila, there's a baby. That's not how it goes. I mean, most times we do still boil some water, maybe to sterilize some supplies, or for tea because we want tea. But there's really no big, that's a TV thing about the boiled water. Actually, I heard a granny midwife say once that they used to tell the men to boil water just to give them something to do. It had nothing to do with anything. So I don't know if that was really completely true or she was just kind of fooling us, but it makes sense, keep the men busy who were a little nervous and didn't know what to do with the birth. But anyhow, so being a midwife means the word midwife means with woman. And midwives, there's all types of midwives, first of all. There's the nurse midwives, and there are CPM certified professional midwives. They are they are licensed midwives who are just simply licensed by the state, direct entry midwives, lay midwives, traditional spiritual midwives. There are so many different types of midwives. And for the most part, most of us do the exact same thing. The training is different. And sometimes what that means is that how we deal with if there's an emergency or whatever may be going on, that's usually what's going to be different. With the different types of midwives, some of us we're going to be way more traditional. We're going to dig in our bag of herbs and maybe essential oils or homeopathy, and we're going to use some different things like that. We may have some magnesium or uh, you know uh, I don't know, magnesium or hawthorn or all kinds of different little things in a bag to assist with maybe mom's high blood pressure is going up, and maybe a little honey to get her energy up, different things like that. And some midwives may carry in the bag pitocin and maybe some other actual medical type of drugs or ailment. Uh, I'm sorry, sources of healing for you. So it's really about those little things that kind of makes a difference from one midwife to another. Maybe some midwives will hang in there longer for a birth or a labor that lasts some time, and then some may have a legal reason for why they have to cut you off at a certain time. So that's those are some of the differences, but nonetheless, all of us midwives who attend home births, we come packed and ready. We come ready, okay? Because what we know and what we understand about birth is that majority of the time for a healthy mom, it's completely fine. Everything is great, everything is fine, and mom and baby and dad are usually great. But you have to be prepared for anything because birth is also very unpredictable. And since we as women tend to carry so much emotional baggage, so much heartache, and so much bellyache, that so much of this stuff bothers us in our womb. So much of it comes up when we are giving birth. You know what I mean? So because of that, we sometimes pop up with different issues and challenges in the middle of the birth or at the labor or even while resting in postpartum. So in those instances, us midwives have to be prepared for that. We have to be prepared for if mom starts to hemorrhage, which is meaning that she bleeds a lot more than what she should be. We have to be prepared if baby needs a little bit of mouth to mouth, baby needs a little bit of oxygen or something like that. We have to be prepared for if mom gets a little bit too dizzy or, like I mentioned before, her blood pressure goes up. We have to be prepared for all those things, and most of us are very, very, very well prepared. In one way or another, we get the job done. And in fact, it's going to be your midwife, uh, more than probably your doctor, who will pay so much close attention to you that we'll know what's going on just like that, because we're there with you one on one, and we're spending all of this quality time with you, and we went through the entire pregnancy really paying attention to you and focusing on you and your baby. And then we've really established a relationship, and we know how things are supposed to go. We have a baseline. We know exactly how the baby's heart rate should sound according to your prenatal appointments that we've provided for you. So because of that, there aren't really many surprises. Um, and like I said, when there are, we're ready. So I really want people to know that more than anything is that midwives do not just wing it. Midwives do not just show up with a pot and boil water, and then there is a miraculous birth that occurs. So I want you guys to definitely know that. So, Brother Knowledge, have you ever thought about um, like what that would be like for you? If you consider having any more children, what it would be like for you to actually have a home birth and experience that. How would you envision that in your head with your wife and your baby to come?
I was very involved in the births of all of my children. So, you know, for me, I think really I think a lot of that stress would be gone because it's a natural environment. It's not a forced environment. You know, I had to keep, you know, the extra people away in the hospital. You see what I'm saying? Like my last child, the birth, my wife was standing up. She was literally in my arms. You see what I'm saying? So this is what she wanted. So you know,
Wow.
the heck with
Wow.
everybody that was around. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
It was. it was her and I. And so it was when she wanted to move. If she didn't want to move, she wasn't moving. They was trying to get us to the bed and all this other stuff. I was like, nah, move, get out of here.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, all of those factors would be gone. So I could just take the cues in the way that, the process goes, however long the process is. You see what I'm saying? So being in a more natural state, in a more state of peace. You see what I'm saying? Because when you on security guard watch, you understand what I'm saying? You in a different
Right.
mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so, it's not a very welcoming and calming spirit to be in because you on alert. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And half of you is on alert, and half of you is in that same space that I just tried to describe to you, the calm, reassuring state. Everything is gonna be all right. All right. So being there for that type of process. You know what I'm saying? It would be 100%, a natural state versus this, on guard type of state. So, you know, more reassuring and more, patient, more calm, more, direct and allowing, nature to run its course, as opposed to that overbearing, you know, craziness that is the hospital. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't envision myself going back to no hospital ever again for a birth. You know,
Mm.
very, very
Wow.
traumatic experience for everybody that's involved. Even for, like my oldest son, he was there watching the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Playing with his tablet, bugging out like this is crazy.
Right.
you know,
Wow.
so it's an experience right there in a half. So you know, uh, if the men aren't involved, or if they're in Lamar's class or whatever that stuff is that they do, and reading the books and all of those things, you have to be involved and be on guard if you're in that environment. But if you're not, then you should be there, getting educated properly to understand the entire process, from someone who is a professional doing uh, doing this for a living. So you can learn some lessons, and you can you know get into your intuition and see what's going on, and and be that other part. You can grow closer in this process, or you can grow apart in this process.
Mm-hmm.
So based on your level of attention and level of commitment to the process. Again, this is your loved one, and this is a gift of life. A representation of both of you endowed by the Creator. So it's a whole process there. Once you really look at it with that proper lens, I definitely want like 10,000 more children. So you know,
That's a
just
big number, brother.
hey,
Okay, well, alhamdulillah, listen. If it's meant, Allah is definitely going to bless you with that for sure. I want to take a quick little pause, just to acknowledge our viewers. Thanks for listening. And you guys can comment on the YouTube channel itself, or you can comment right here on the Google Hangouts. You can also text your comments or questions to us at 856-514-1418. That number again is 856 and you can go ahead and just drop us a quick text and let us know your comments or your questions, and we would be glad to answer them. Also, I want to take a quick moment to let everyone know to save the date. If you haven't yet, I want you to save the date. Our fourth annual Natural Birth, Natural Body Conference is coming up very soon. The title of this year's conference is The Release, the Rebirth, the Revolution. And this conference will be held on May 17th through the 19th, 2019, inshallah. And this is an all women's conference. Now, if you've never been to the Natural Birth, Natural Body Conference before, let me tell you, this conference is amazing. And so said so many of our attendees. And what we've done is we've broken down so many of the different things that affect us as women into an entire weekend. So we cover topics from the menses to the menstrual cycle, to menopause. We talk about finances. We talk about Black women and beauty image. We have African dance workshops and belly dance workshops, and sometimes we have workout workshops, and we talk about stress relief and oh my gosh, all kinds of things. The workshops just go on and on and on. We talk about home birth. We talk about C-sections and recovering from them, being mothers of premature babies and how to move forward from that. We talk about relationship building, how to select your spouse or your partner before you conceive. So all of these different things, the vendors, we only have Black female vendors in our Saucony, which is our marketplace. And we urge everyone to come and support the vendors. Definitely, you come and shop with these women, okay? Because that dollar, that $5, at $10, at 20, or that 50 is helping her to pay her bill. It's helping her to feed her children. So we implore you to come and spend money with them. Make sure you bring cash. Again, that's the 4th annual Natural Birth, Natural Body Conference. And that is May 17th through the 19th, 2019. And for more information, you can simply go to www.nbnbconference.com. That's N as in natural, B as in body, N as in natural, N as in birth. Conference, CONFERENCE. Why do I feel like I just spelled that wrong? CONFERENCE.com. Okay, so that's NBNBconference.com. And you can also email us if you would like to vend, or if you're interested in hosting a workshop, or presenting a workshop, or even being on one of our panels for our panelist discussions. You can email us at nbnbconference@gmail.com. So ladies, save the dates. Brothers, please let your women know, your sisters, your wives, your mothers, your female cousins. Let them know. Let them know to come out and support and to get some information. I promise you, we are going to give some valuable information. There's plenty of door bags. We give out prizes and all kinds of great stuff. We're going to have a film night on that Friday. And then on Saturday, all the workshops and goodies and giveaways. And then on that Sunday, a Celebrate Your Pregnancy Day, Celebrate Motherhood Day. So we're going to really just do this up. It's just a ball. It's nothing but love and sisterhood in the building. It is not a Muslim-only event, but we are gearing this event towards Black women and Black Muslim women, because we are the women that are often the most neglected when it comes to us having natural health and us having natural pregnancies or natural births and natural motherhood. So that's who this conference is for. It's for us. It's for you. It's for me. Okay. So make sure you ladies save the date. So let's get back to the topic. We only have a few minutes left of the show. We have about a little less than 20 minutes left of the show. So we want to get back to the topic and kind of finish talking. We were speaking with our guest co-host, Brother Knowledge, who is the, I'm sorry. We were talking to Brother Knowledge, who is actually the host and the founder of the award-winning platform Do the Knowledge. Okay, it's a show that's dedicated to the celebration, cultivation, and reformation of the African family by facilitating discussions, conversations, and classes surrounding all aspects of African life. So we want to bring Brother Knowledge back on the scene. Are you around, brother? All right, there he is. So now, one thing I want to talk about when it comes to home birth, we got to talk about this, is money. People never want to talk about that. So let me just ask you, of course I know, but I'm going to ask you because this is also giving me insight from a male's perspective. And it's important for me to know as a midwife, for me to listen to what everybody has to say, not just the women, but the men too. So what do you expect the cost to be for such a service where the midwife comes and she provides prenatal care for your woman through her whole pregnancy? She takes care of her and your baby throughout the labor and the birth, and she sees her for postpartum as well. So, what ballpark figures have you ever researched that? Do you know? Do you have a guess? What do you think?
Whatever she charges,
That's a good answer. Good
whatever
answer.
she charges. There's no amount of money that you could pay, for what you receive. You understand what I'm saying? It's like putting a price
Mhm.
tag on your life or the life of your loved ones. You know,
Mm,
uh, the medical industry is $1 trillion industry, and they're not there to help. They're just waiting for your organs when you transition. You
mm,
see what I'm saying? And the quicker they can get them, you know, uh, man, it's just crazy. It's amazing. You can go to the doctor with a headache and leave with a hysterectomy.
mm,
You understand what I'm saying? This is how
mm,
dirty that game is. You know, anything that's wrong with you, sister, they talking about taking your ovaries. Any of that
mm,
stuff. You understand?
mm,
Because they don't know anything about you, so they need to. They don't know anything about you, but there's something magical inside of you, in your organs, and in your blood, and in your hair, and everything that's curing all of the diseases in the world. So they have to have that. That's a business.
mhm,
Insurance made it to, if they don't diagnose you with something, they don't get paid. It's called billable hours. So any of that, no amount of money that you're trying to hoard or keep a hold to is worth your life, safety. You see what I'm saying? So whatever the sister's charge, you're paid 10 times to the hospital. You
mhm,
just call it insurance, what you're paying for that insurance. That monthly premium is paying uh, for your death certificate if you keep
mm,
going to the hospital. You see what I'm saying?
mm,
So just think about it in that regard. And I
mhm,
know, amongst our people specifically, we have issues with supporting one another. And this is an opportunity for something that's going to happen for the rest of your life. Babies are going to be born. So you have to create a situation where which you're prepared and you have all of the tools, the skills, and the knowledge at your disposal to ensure a successful birth and
mhm,
a successful life. Because a successful birth leads to a successful life. You know, if you have a birth that's to your detriment, you just set your loved one up for failure for the rest of their life. You know,
mhm.
so you know,
Wow.
I could get into that them cesareans and all of that stuff. Like, please, like
Yeah. Yeah.
the scars, emotional scars, the psychological scars, the physical scars that are associated with, someone cutting you open and ripping your loved one out. They did that, to our ancestors, and they just brought it to the hospital. You understand?
Mhm,
So we have to really be mindful as a people in regards to what we're supporting, because if
mhm,
we're not supporting home birth, we're supporting a medical assassination.
mm.
You choose.
Wow. That was a that was a deep statement. I couldn't have said that one better myself. Wow.
I
Wow.
got it. I got it off your website. I got it off your website.
It's wow. You know, I mean, you said so much. I feel like ain't nothing left. um, you paying to be murdered. You paying for people to murder you, kill you slowly. And honestly, the word hospital comes from the word hospice anyway, and it's deemed a place meant for
To
people
die.
to go to die.
That's right.
And so when you talk about you have healthy women going to a place that's meant for you to die, to give birth, it's almost oxymoron. It's it's absurd. It makes no sense. It's a total contradiction. It makes no sense at all. We're going to the people who directly and indirectly, purposely, intentionally, and unintentionally all of that. They want to harm us. They do not have our best interests at heart. And we run to them. We don't even just walk, we run to them. There are so many people who call me, inbox me, text me. There's so many ladies who hit me up all the time to ask me all kinds of little questions about their pregnancy and things like that. And at first, years ago, I've been a midwife for 15 years. And when I first got started, I was so excited to answer everyone's questions. And, I wanted to be so helpful because I love the people, and I just want to help my sisters. But then I learned very quickly that really they have no loyalty, and they're not really interested in doing what it takes to actually have a healthy, happy, natural pregnancy and birth. They just want a quick fix, and they're hoping that I can give them a quick fix, and they're hoping I can give them a quick fix for free. But, since I don't believe in slavery, I can't give you nothing for free. So I'm sure that I have, rubbed some people the wrong way when they inbox me or text me or call me and they ask me for these questions. And I tell them, well, you have to pay for a consultation. And then they go, okay, I'm going to talk to my husband, or okay, I'm going to talk to my partner, or okay, I'm going to get back with you. And of course they don't. Well, not all of them, but, enough of our sisters don't. Because until it actually becomes a really horrible issue, whatever it is they face, they'll just ignore it, and they'll just keep taking whatever pill the doctor told them to take. They'll just keep doing whatever test the doctor said to keep doing or taking, and they'll do it almost to no end, And so something's got to change, because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, here's the thing, right? You're doing the same thing over and over again, but you're not getting different solutions. You're getting the same results. It's insanity at its best. You all are not only engaging in insane behavior, it's actually making you all crazy. Because when your wives keep having to get C-sections, when your babies keep having to be born in a hostile environment where your wife is treated like an animal in a semi-line in a manufacturer versus a woman giving birth, then you can't expect for you to have a 100% joyous outcome. There's always something. And, let me take that back. Some people do actually have a joyous outcome because they're so alluded to what's going on, and they're so blinded that they don't even know that they're being mistreated. They don't even understand the concept of what's happening all around them. So in that case, those people, they really do have happy births. So I can't say that you won't have a happy birth, but you'll have an uneducated birth. You will have an uneducated birth, and your child will be born into this world miseducated and misguided. And so do you understand how we bring our children into the world miseducated and misguided, and then we expect them to have an education later and be guided? So many people now are walking around saying that they're woke, and it's cute to say, stay woke. It's cute, everybody liked the little movie that came out last year, and the song that was on the soundtrack and kept playing on the radio. So everybody likes that, and it sounds cool and all that. And then another movie came out with the black superhero, and everybody thought they were woke, and everybody thought they were conscious, and everybody thought that they were aware of self. But it takes so much more than just a movie, a couple movies, and a song. It takes so much more. And while home birth and midwives is not the end all be all, it's not at all. It's just the beginning. And it still holds a lot of weight. It's still very important. It's a very, very, very important factor how you give birth, where you give birth, and whom you give birth around. It's very important. If you wouldn't give birth in the trash can, then you shouldn't give birth in the hospital if you're a healthy woman. If you're a man and you have a woman, you have a wife, you have a partner, a spouse, even a pregnant sister, if you would not want her to give birth in the trash can, don't want her to give birth in the hospital. If she's healthy and she's she doesn't need to be there, because those are your enemies. Those are the same people. Those are the exact same people. Remember, I talked about how I love my people because I'm y'all and y'all me. Well, those are the exact same people who work for the people who are going to lock you up today or tomorrow for no reason at all, who are going to pull you over and maybe shoot you in front of your children today or tomorrow for no reason at all, who will shoot us down, gun us down when we reach for our wallets. Okay? Those are the same people. See, they are the same people. They just in a hospital and they wear little white coats. They're the same people. They're just like the people who sit behind the court benches and bang their gavel and sentence you to prison unjustifiably and for sentences longer than any other person out here. You know, they sentence you to these ridiculous sentences and they put all these charges on you that don't even make, they make up stuff. It's just ridiculous. They make up stuff. Okay. They're the same people. Remember that they're the same people. So when we forget that they're the same people, then that means that we separate them as if these doctors and things like that inside these hospitals are not the enemy. They are. They are. You have to acknowledge that. You got to know that these hospitals are teaching hospitals in the city. In most major cities, they have teaching hospitals. You see university of something, that is a teaching hospital. Hospitals where they say, oh, well, my intern wants to come in, or the resident so-and-so, that's a teaching hospital. You are an experiment, okay? You're no different from a lab rat. You're no different from when we were in science class dissecting frogs. You're the frog. So we're being experiment is no different from Tuskegee Airmen. And we're no different from any of that stuff. It's just history repeating itself over and over and over again. But right now, we just so happen to be talking about birth. It's no different in birth. They give us the wrong pills all the time in our communities. All the time, our moms, great aunts, granddads, great uncles are overdosed, mismedicated. You know what I mean? They're given the wrong medications all the time, given the wrong diagnosis, all of those things. So, they're not in it for our best interests. And you got to understand, they take an oath to something else that has nothing to do with you or this color. Nothing at all. And it's not in the interest of this color. It's not in the interest of the survival of the people who carry this color on their skin. It's not about us. And you have to understand it. You got to know that. So I wanted to just kind of elaborate just a little bit, because the people got to understand that when we talk about home birth and we talk about midwives, we are talking about a movement. We are talking about a revolution. We're not just talking about, oh, just have your babies at home, because it's cool and we stay woke. No, it's a movement, people. We are in a state of emergency, and we got to know that we got to do something different, or we're going to keep having the same results. They're killing us, and we're killing ourselves because we feed ourselves to them, and we feed our children to them. You might as well push out your babies and throw them right in the trash can. It's no different. It's no different, because as soon as they're born, the first thing they do is inject poisons into your baby's body. They put poison into your baby's eyes. They separate you, the mother, from the child. That's barbaric. That's barbaric. They separate the mother from the child in the most vulnerable moment of a human being's life. They separate you from your mother. And that time is so vital. It's so important. And they understand that it is too. The hormonal connection, the chemical connection that occurs from a mother to a newborn baby is so vital and so important to the mother's healing, to the baby breastfeeding, to the baby's breathing, all of those things. But one of the first things they do is disconnect it. And so, we see ourselves getting caught up in the middle of all of that stuff, and we figure, well, it's what everybody does. But, everything is what everybody does. It doesn't make it right. We got to go on what's right. We got to go on what's better. We're going to go on what's going to be more beneficial to us as a people. We're talking about generations, break the cycle, So, Brother Knowledge, you really hit the nail on the head with quite a few things. You really went in. I mean, I so appreciate your presence and you co-hosting with us today, and just and really, I would love for you to come back on. We talk about another topic, if you would be willing. In closing, do you have a few things that you could say in closing for some of the brothers and sisters out there watching about home birth or midwives or any of those things, any of those topics that you touched? Because you said a lot. So you take the floor. Anything you have to say before we go?
Shukran, sis. Jazakallah
Excellent.
khairan for everyone
All right.
who listen and view these sacred archives over here with our sister Aisha. That's a powerful name. That's the story within itself. We know that. Um,
I'll do that.
yeah, I would definitely love to come back on and uh, whatever topic you choose or whenever you have
Breaking
space.
up a little bit.
I said whenever you have space for me again on your platform, I think I'm good, and we also look forward to hearing your journey and your story on our platform on Do Knowledge Radio. So
Absolutely.
for the family that is listening, please take heed to the words that was said. For the Muslims, it's incumbent upon the believers to enjoin what is right and forbid that which is wrong. So it's a call to action. You know, and you have within your midst, a sister who believes as you believe. You know, and has taken up this charge. And for the family that's listening, you have to reclaim and regain our identity. Our story. You can start a new situation, a new generational norm in your family by giving birth at home.
Mm-hmm.
They would never have to know the horrors and the atrocities of this place to die. So, we can make this the new normal, you know. We stay at home, we got the stay woke movement, but how about the stay at home movement? You understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So when
Mm-hmm.
we start talking about, you know, giving birth at home, we also talk about educating our children at home. Where did our children go to school to learn when there were no schools? You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, oh, you keep your children at home? Like, what? You understand what I'm saying? You have to understand what's going on and where the things that in a society that are normal and natural appear unnatural and abnormal. You see what I'm saying? So, the whispering in the wind, the shared team or these evil ones that's out here, get into your heart and have you in a situation of doubt. So you have
Mm-hmm.
to stand firm on what you believe and who you are. Because what you believe is a part of who you are. It's one of the greatest
Mm-hmm.
parts of who you are. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So we have to speak the language of affirmation in regards to continuing on Black life. If Black Lives Matter, prove it. You understand what I'm saying? So stop going to those people that would do you harm, that are seeking to benefit of our devastation and destruction. When have they ever gave you anything good? Just think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the power that you do have and things that's in the span of your control and regain that power, take that back. You see what I'm saying? So we need to make a mass exodus out of these places where those spaces are there for our detriment and start to frequent and support and uplift and rebuild those places that are for our benefit. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, I could go, somewhere. But
Right.
I just wanted to, thank you again, sister. If anybody is looking to be a guest on our platform, you can email me at dudeknowledgeradio at gmail.com. That's DOTHAKNOWLEDGE You can check us out on follow the show on Instagram, Knowledge Born Allah 357 on Instagram. Twitter is at Knowledge Born 15 on Twitter. And you can check our show archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/Do Knowledge Radio. Got about 770 or more shows to date,
Wow.
and
Wow.
we didn't have a lot of
Wow.
people on, and so we look forward to adding Sister Aisha to the roster.
Wow. I don't know. I'm a little intimidated now. I don't know if I'm ready. That's a lot. Okay. Nonetheless, I'd love it. I'll be honored. I would be honored to be a guest. And we thank you again. We appreciate your time and your effort. This brother volunteered to give his time for our show today and took the time away from his family and children and things like that to come on here and drop that knowledge for us. So again, we thank you and appreciate you. So guys, I love everybody. Thank y'all for coming on and listening. Listen, I want y'all to make sure y'all subscribe, okay? So go on YouTube and subscribe to the channel Aisha the Midwife.Muhammad. Definitely subscribe to the channel. I also have a new show that I'm doing. It's like a little mini series called Mama 10. And that one is just a little personal show that I'm doing. It's just kind of my everyday, day to day activities with the children, being a mother of 10 children. There's so many different things that go on in the household with women and children. And a lot of times we think that we're alone when we go through these things. And I am here to tell all the mamas, you are not alone, honey. I go through it too. She does, and all of the everyone goes through it. So make sure you tune in to Mama 10 on my YouTube channel, Aisha the Midwife.Muhammad. And check us out here every Thursday night, inshallah, God willing, at 7 p.m. Solutions Live, where we will discuss and focus on issues. Excuse me, we will focus on us minding our own business, and we will focus on issues that have everything to do with us and the solutions. So I'm going to give a little quick solution for today. We talked about home birth and the importance of home birth and the importance of hiring midwives. Two solutions that I'm going to give for that is one, research the midwives in your area. Please do. Two, start to look up home births online. Look at home birth videos and research a little bit. You just need to pique your interest. It may not be for you. You may end up never having a home birth, but at least become aware, because I'm telling you, when you don't make an informed decision, you become a slave to other people's decisions that they've made for you. So I want you to make informed decisions, and I want you to make sure that you know what you're doing to yourself and to your babies before you do them. Also, another big hit is to begin saving. Save up for a home birth. It's not going to be free. But most midwives, depending on the state that you're in, it could be anywhere from 2,500 to 7,500. It depends on where you are, depends on the midwives that are servicing you. But please do start looking into your finances if this is something that you're thinking about doing, okay? So, as always, guys, I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit that little cute like button underneath. Share the videos, comment. You can also check me out on my website, www.aishathemidwife.com. That's AISHIATHEMIDWIFE.com. We will see you next Thursday at 7. Thank you for tuning in. Peace, love, power, and prosperity. Good night. Assalamu alaikum.